Hey there guys, I'm back to another video. Today I'm here to showcase my Nintendo Switch game collection. Pretty much every single game that I have, most of it is physical, but there are a couple of digital titles that I do want to talk about, whether it's because they are digital only or it was cheaper to buy it that way or more convenient or whatever. So yeah, let's just quickly go through those digital games. So first up, we got Everybody 1-2 Switch. We had some sort of party over at my house and my friend was like, yeah, I mean, I'll buy it. Yeah, sure. We'll see what happens. And the game is actually just like that terrible. Already, I mean, I guess we could also talk about 1-2 Switch right now, but 1-2 Switch is like a pretty good party game. I feel like you'll get like a few good sessions out of it, even with like different groups of people and whatnot. Like this is pretty much everything that can showcase what the Switch can do, from the Joy-Cons and sort of the handheld mode and all this other stuff. Yeah, like there's a lot of great mini games in here. And Everybody 1-2 Switch, it is just not fun. I don't know what it is. It just feels like that game doesn't have a lot going for it, which is why when Nintendo released it, it was kind of just like out of nowhere. Nothing really happened from it. And then next game I want to talk about is Phoenix Wright Trilogy. Bought this because it was on some sort of sale, and it is only available digitally in the States. If I wanted to get it physically, I would have to import it, which I definitely will do one day just for the collection. A couple of other indie games that I want to talk about here. Mr. Shifty. I checked this out years and years ago. I thought that this was like a great indie game where you're sort of just like teleporting, but also doing like fast-paced combat and whatnot. So it is pretty cool. It's like a beat 'em up as well. And then a couple of other games that I've checked out much more recently, such as Ninja Turtles Splintered Fate. This is a fantastic roguelite. I mean, if you played Hades, you'll pretty much know what you're getting yourself into, but with the Ninja Turtles. And they actually do a great job sort of characterizing these versions of the Turtles with the voice acting and also just like fleshing out the world in and of itself. So if you like the Ninja Turtles and you like roguelites, you should definitely check this one out. It is also available on PC, but it came out on the Switch first for consoles anyways. Not sure if it'll come out on any other consoles, but I think roguelites and indie games are very much sort of synonymous with each other. And then another game that I checked out actually this year as well, Gimmick 2. Fantastic sort of 2D platformer. I never played the original Gimmick, but I had a really good time checking this one out, even though I was really bad at it and definitely got stumped on a few of the challenges when I really shouldn't have. And then another game that I checked out, I think a while ago, it's called Counterattack Uprising. This is just a really nice, just like shoot 'em up game. Nothing really special here, but if you like that genre, you should definitely play this one, see if you like it. I think that it might be a little generic on that side if you played a lot of shmups, but for me personally, I thought that it was pretty cool. Then the last game that I want to talk about here is one that I have yet to play, but I played the demo for it. It's called Bakaru. And this game, it was stuck in like Japan for a bit, but then it recently got released this year in the States, only digitally, but I still pre-ordered it. I haven't played the full game yet, but like I said, I played the demo and there's a lot going for it in terms of being like a 3D platformer and whatnot. There's definitely not as much polish as you would see from like a typical standard Nintendo game, but it is still very, very good from what I played of it, and I cannot wait to check it out probably early into next year because there's a lot of games that are coming out later this year that I still need to check out and play and still get through. So anyways, let's talk about the physical games that I have within my collection, which is a lot. So this video is going to take a minute. So yeah, let's get into it. Advance Wars 1 and 2 Reboot Camp. I think I bought this last year on some sort of sale on Amazon, but this is a remake of the Game Boy Advance titles and pretty much bundles it into one. Probably the most accessible and most affordable way to get these games because both of those games on GBA are expensive. But I hear nothing but good things about this sort of remake, remaster, whatever you want to call it. Definitely want to check this one out because I do like sort of these, tactical strategic games, sort of top down, kind of like Fire Emblem, but not really kind of thing. So, yeah. Animal Crossing: New Horizons. I'm not a big Animal Crossing guy these days, but when this game came out, I mean, it was like the perfect time. It came out around when the shutdown happened with COVID, and everyone was able to play this one as long as you got a Switch. I know Switches were pretty much sold out everywhere because of this game. People wanted to play this and they were like, oh my god, like, you know, I don't have a Switch yet, so let me just go and buy one at the store, and it's sold out everywhere. So, but yeah, this is a very good Animal Crossing game. I think when the previous Animal Crossing game, New Leaf, which was my first ever Animal Crossing experience, I sunk in so much time in with that game. I played like 200 hours or something like that. But for this one, I think I still played like a pretty decent amount of hours, just waking up every day, doing the daily stuff or whatever. I feel like this game just didn't have enough updates fast enough. So I think that's why the game suffered for me personally. But still, this is like a great entry within the Animal Crossing world. Even playing online was pretty fun. So yeah, I mean, you really can't go wrong with New Horizons. I think that there's a lot of updates in it now that really incentivize new players to still check it out and play it. Another Code Recollection. This is a game that came out this year, and this is a remake of a DS and Wii game, I believe. And this was shown during a Nintendo Direct, and I was like, what is this? Like, why are they remaking this? And yeah, I mean, I just wanted to check it out because I love sort of story narrative games, and this is one of them. I have yet to play it for myself. I didn't hear anything bad about it, so I definitely am very hopeful going into it, hopefully early next year, along with the other games within my backlog, because, you know, bought this at full price. Definitely want to support something like this if, you know, Nintendo wants to revive and sort of publish these older games that are trapped on older hardware. Bayonetta 2, the only Bayonetta game that I have within my collection. I definitely want to get the other ones, but yeah, I mean, I love this game on the Wii U, and I wanted to sort of rebuy it and re-support it. I even have my original receipt here from Best Buy. But yeah, you know, it also came with a full download code for Bayonetta, which I have played a decent amount of as well. I will never forget when I played the original Bayonetta, and I was like, wow, like, I can't believe Nintendo is bringing this to the Wii U. And, you know, when it came out on the Wii U, I obviously played it, enjoyed it. I haven't replayed it and finished either of these games on the Switch, but I definitely want to do that before I dive into Bayonetta 3. Even though the stories in the Bayonetta games are not exactly the most cohesive or sort of the most enticing part of the series, it's mostly about the combat and the gameplay and sort of how rich and how much fun that is. So yeah, like I said, one day I'll definitely jump back into the Bayonetta series because I hear a lot of great things about Bayonetta 3. Brain Age or Big Brain Academy. I keep saying Brain Age. Whenever I talk about this series, I always say Brain Age. But it is Big Brain Academy, Brain versus Brain. This is actually a fun little sort of 1v1 mode that you could play with your friends or just, you know, people that you have in your house or whatever. There's a lot of, you know, sort of like little mini games that you need to wrap your brain around, whether it's puzzles, math, or whatever. And yeah, I'm honestly very happy that Nintendo brought this series back, even though it didn't really make that big of a splash, and this game can be found for like really, really cheap. It is still like a fun game that you could play, like I said, with your friends, family, whatever, and sort of, you know, test your brain knowledge, see who's smarter at math, who's smarter at puzzles, etc., etc. So I definitely had a lot of fun play sessions doing that with my girlfriend. Castle Crashers Remastered. This is a purchase that I made this year because Behemoth was like, yeah, we are making this a physical release for the Switch. I have yet to open it, but I still have a lot of memories playing Castle Crashers on my Xbox 360. And I believe this is the first time that they are releasing it physically. So I was like, well, if I'm going to rebuy it, I might as well buy it on the Switch in this physical cartridge and just sort of have it immortalized forever. So yeah, you know, if you have yet to play Castle Crashers, this is one of those Xbox Live Arcade games that you need to check out. It still holds up to this day with the sort of humor, the sort of beat 'em up combat. Like, it is just a lot of fun. Cooking Mama Cookstar. If you guys don't know the story about this game, I would recommend watching a YouTube video on it. But pretty much when this game came out, this game wasn't supposed to come out. I believe the license holders for the Cooking Mama series was like, this does not meet to our standards. Please do not release this game. And they did it anyways. So when this game originally came out, the game was going for like double, triple the amount. I think I bought this on eBay or whatever for like, I think like $20 over. So, you know, I was definitely part of the reason why this game was going for so much, but it was just such an interesting thing because I like the Cookie Mama series, and I was like, what is going on with this game? So yeah, there's like a huge other story behind it that's a lot more accurate than what I'm telling, but that's pretty much the gist of it. They did not want this game to release, but the publishers released it anyways because it was just like, yeah, whatever, we're just gonna release it. And then, you know, I think there was like a lawsuit that happened. I don't know if that went through or sort of got settled or anything, but yeah, and I hear the game is actually bad, which is why I have yet to open it. But yeah, I mean, there's a lot of Cookie Mama games out there, and I think they've even re-released this on like other platforms like PS4, Xbox, etc. So very weird and interesting game. Disney Illusion Island. This is a super cool 2D platformer with the retro Disney drawing aesthetic. I remember seeing this on a couple of Nintendo Directs, and I was like, I want to get this game when it comes out. And yeah, I did. I have yet to open it. I don't know if you could tell, but yeah, it is still brand new sealed. I definitely want to check this out one day. I bought this at full price when it came out because I was like, I want to support it. It looks very, very cool, very, very dope. And yeah, you know, another game to have within the backlog that I want to check out early next year. Along with this game, Emo The Smiling Man. When this game was getting teased, it was like so weird. People were like, oh my god, are they making like a horror game or whatever from Nintendo? And it was super, super duper creepy. But yeah, I mean, when it was announced that this was a follow-up to the Famicom Detective series, I was like, oh, okay, like this is a series that has not seen an entry in decades. So the fact that they were making a brand new one, and I've heard a lot of great things about it, especially within the story and the narrative. I'm like, okay, yeah, like I am very interested to check this out for myself and actually form my own opinion on it. Next game we got here is Final Fantasy VII and Final Fantasy VIII Remastered, a double pack. This is a PEGI release because it only released in Europe as a physical copy. Bought this on Amazon because I heard that Final Fantasy VII, this might be the best way to play it on modern hardware and also have a physical copy of it. So I was like, okay, yeah. And it is all on one cartridge. So yeah, I mean, if you want to register that product code, you can. I really don't care. I don't have a Square Enix account, so whoever snags that up first, go for it. But yeah, I mean, Final Fantasy VII and the Final Fantasy series as a whole has its own reputation. Really, everyone knows about it. And if I were to play Final Fantasy VII, I will do it through this copy because I want to play the remakes. I hear a lot of great things about those remakes, but my friend Damien, who we have a podcast together called the Travis and Damien podcast, he talks about Final Fantasy a lot. And when he talks about the remakes, I'm like, okay, yeah, like, should I play the originals first before I get into the remakes? And he's always like, yes, you should. You will definitely appreciate the remakes more if you were to play the original before you dive in to the new ones. And I'm like, okay, you know what? That's fair. So one day I will definitely try this out and get my own opinion on Final Fantasy VII, which is considered one of the best games of all time. Fire Emblem Three Houses. I have yet to play this game. I feel like ever since, because my first ever Fire Emblem game was Fire Emblem Awakening, and I went through so many playthroughs of that game where like I would get to a certain point where like, you know, either like most of my characters died or like I learned about the sort of relationship mechanic or something else I would learn about it, then I would just restart my playthrough because I have so many hours on that game. That's like my second most played game on my 3DS. And when it came to this game, I don't know. I think when it came out, I was just busy with college, so I just couldn't really dive into this one. But I hear there's, you know, like a very interesting story. There's a lot of cool stuff that happens, but I've always been someone that's into the Fire Emblem series for the gameplay, like just like the sort of like turn-based combat and sort of just like getting into that action. So yeah, I mean, I played a little bit of it. I believe you're like a teacher and you're like teaching these students or whatever. So it is kind of cool, kind of interesting. Definitely want to jump back into this one day and see exactly what all the fuss is about. Game Builder Garage. I bought this simply for the fact that it was on clearance at Target, and I was like, well, I don't have this one. I think it was for like $20 or something like that, which is not that bad. I have no intentions of opening it because I'm not a very creative person when it comes to making stuff within games or whatever. And I have, you know, I feel like I would not be able to create as cool stuff as like other people have within this game, which I don't even know. You probably can play other people's stuff and sort of go through that whole mumbo jumbo, but yeah, I mean, it is cool to see Nintendo have like their own game where like other people could like create, you know, their own, you know, stuff. So Just Dance 2019, I think this is something that my brother purchased. But yeah, I mean, you know, Just Dance, you got some pretty cool songs in there. Obviously, at the time, a lot of good bangers or whatever. So then we got Camar Damasi Reroll. Once again, another sort of, I guess, like Cooking Mama situation. When this game originally came out, it was physical, but it was only available at GameStop. So that caused like a whole thing with like people buying and reselling it on eBay. I think once again I paid like 20 bucks over or something like that. And the person I bought it from on eBay took so long to ship it. I was like, what is going on? But they did finally ship it because I think they like lost the tracking number or something. But it did get shipped, arrived to my house, and I did have every intention of like playing it and trying it out because I've always wanted to check out the Katamari series. But if we're gonna get like remasters like this, I'm like, sure, why not? And I know they made another one, so I definitely want to buy that one as well. But yeah, Katamari Damacy Reroll. I'm not exactly sure how to describe this game other than that like you were just like a little guy, a little person, and you're just rolling stuff up into a ball, and like that's pretty much what you're doing. It's cute, it's charming, it has like its own little genre that I don't even know how to describe it in, but it is a very cool game. Now let's talk about the Kirby games. So we got Kirby Star Allies and Kirby and the Forgotten Land. So Kirby Star Allies, this was the first Kirby game released on the Switch, sort of taking the same traditional 2.5D structure and just running with it again. And now you got the ally system. You could also combine abilities as well. And a lot of it just felt undercooked. I feel like when this game came out, I did not like it as much as like the 3DS Kirby games or even Kirby Return to Dreamland, which was the first one to really do that 2.5D style. I feel like they've really ran their course with this format, and that is why they went full 3D. Shout out to Damien. He bought this for my birthday one year. I think it was last year or the year before, I forget. But yeah, Kirby and the Forgotten Land, this is where they went full 3D. And Kirby also has a new sucking ability where you could just suck up a car, suck up a traffic cone, lights, whatever. New copy abilities as well, but you are in a full 3D environment, which is so cool. I think that that is such a cool thing. I played this every now and then with my girlfriend. You know, I haven't actually sat down and like gone through the full game yet. Definitely want to do that one of these days. Another game to add to my Switch backlog, the never-ending backlog. One of my recent purchases actually just came out, or I just came in the mail this week. Life is Strange Arcadia Bay. So the reason why I bought this is because this is the only way to get the Life is Strange Remastered physically. As you can see, it is on the game card, and then inside there's a code for Before the Storm, which is a prequel to the first Life is Strange game. So yeah, I have yet to play the remastered version of Life is Strange, and I wanted to check it out. I'm sure it runs fine on the Switch, you know, and I bought this directly through the Square Enix website, because if you look on eBay, this game goes for like $60, $70 or something like that. It's so weird. I'm like, if you could just buy it directly through Square Enix, which is like about like 40 bucks after shipping, I'm like, why not just do it like that? But yeah, this is the only way to get the sort of Life is Strange remastered physically. Probably should have got it on like PS5 or something like that if I wanted like the best looking graphics, but you know, I just want this for like my own physical collection, and to actually have the first Life is Strange game within my collection as well, because I have it on PC. That's digital, so I don't have it in a physical form. So this was the only way to really do that. I could have bought the sort of non-remastered version on the PS4, but why would I do that when I could just get it on the Switch? Next games we got here, Luigis Mansion 2 HD and Luigis Mansion 3. So 2 HD, have no opinions on it. I actually wanted to play this game when it came out on the 3DS, but I just never got around to it. And shout out to Damien again. He bought this for my birthday this year, and that came out, or that came in the mail, I think the same day as Life is Strange as well. So yeah, you know, big day for my Switch collection, getting more games and whatnot. But yeah, you know, definitely want to check this out before I play Luigi's Mansion 3. I bought this last year during Black Friday because I think it was like 40 bucks or something like that. And I was like, that is like such a great deal, because Nintendo games never go on sale. So I'm like, okay, you know, if I want to get it for cheaper than 60, this is my only opportunity to do it. I've heard a lot of actually pretty good things about this one as well. You know, I remember I played, because leading up to Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon, I played the original on the GameCube for the very first time. I used like a walkthrough or whatever. So I didn't really play it, but I was playing it. And then when the 3DS game came out, I just never bought it. Whether it was money or time or whatever, exactly remember, but I just never bought it. Now let's talk about the Mario and Rabbids games. We got Mario and Rabbids Kingdom Battle and Mario Rabbids Sparks of Hope. This one is still brand new sealed, but this one I've actually played a little bit at like the airport or something. It's pretty much XCOM Mario, if you will. Like, you are doing a turn-based strategy sort of RPG with Mario in it, and it is pretty cool, I'm not gonna lie. I think that, you know, having the Mario and Rabbids team up is still such a bizarre and weird format, but for some reason it works. I definitely want to, you know, go back into this one and play it before I jump into Sparks of Hope, which I've heard, you know, nothing bad about, but, you know, nothing exactly great or amazing about it either. Pretty much more of the same when it comes to Kingdom Battle to Sparks of Hope. So, yeah. Another Mario RPG series I need to check out. But speaking of Mario RPGs, Mario and Luigi Brothership. This is the game that I'm currently playing a lot of because this is what I want to do for my next review. So if you want to check out my full thoughts on this game when I finally finish it, subscribe to the channel. But yeah, Mario and Luigi Brothership. There was a lot of controversy leading up to this release just because IGN gave it a 5 out of 10 because there's a lot of problems with it and a lot of things that the reviewer did not like, which after playing it for myself, I think I'm like 20 hours in or something like that. I can definitely see what he was talking about because there's a lot of stuff within the game that just doesn't work or doesn't really make sense. I think I'm actually like 10 hours in now that I'm thinking about it. But anyways, yeah, you know, now that I'm like, you know, I guess like 1/3 of the way into the game, I can see what he's talking about. There's a lot of performance issues. The story's like whatever. The combat is very sort of slow paced. Like, they take a long time to introduce new mechanics and new abilities to you, when I feel like a lot of that stuff should have been thrown at you as soon as possible, because it's like, you know, we're jumping, we're doing the traditional Mario and Luigi thing, but like, when are we gonna get the hammer? When are we gonna get the bros attacks and all of this other stuff? And I'm like, yeah, it's like taking a while. But I will say, once you're like finally in it, it is a lot of fun. I am having like a pretty good time with it so far. The art style, the visuals are like amazing. The game does not perform the best on the Switch. I will say that for like most first-party Nintendo games, they run flawlessly, like without frame dips, without any performance issues. But for this one, there's a lot of issues with like the sort of game just like freezing for like a second to like load stuff in, or like the frame dropping or whatever. You know, it is very, very weird for this game to like not perform as well as it does, especially with how good that it looks. You know, like the art style, like I said, amazing. I love how Mario and Luigi look. I love their expressions and sort of how much they show it on the battlefield and everything like that. But yeah, I definitely have to finish the game before I give like my full thoughts on it. But so far, you know, it is definitely a mixed bag. I wouldn't say a 5 out of 10. I don't normally give scores to my game reviews, but I would say closer to like a 6 or 7 right now. You know, it's good, but there are definitely some problems with it. And, you know, if you are on the fence about it, definitely wait for this one to go on sale for like $40, maybe in $50. Or, you know what, if you want to actually check it out for yourself. There's no harm in spending $60 on a game that you actually really want to play. So yeah, you know, sucks that the return to the Mario and Luigi series isn't the best, but I hope that we get more of these games in the future, just because, you know, I love the Mario and Luigi series, and this is like my favorite RPG Mario series out of the bunch. Mario Golf Super Rush. You know, when it comes to Mario sports games, I'm not like the biggest. So when this one came out, you know, I played the demo or like the open beta or whatever. And I was like, you know what, this is pretty good. I'll buy it when it comes out, you know, check it out, sort of like the full game. And I wanted to do a review on it, but I just couldn't get into it. I think the story mode was just not that engaging to me. And then just like the golf stuff was like fine or whatever, but it wasn't, you know, the best, if you will. Like, I just wasn't super duper into it, but that doesn't necessarily mean that it's a bad game. I think this is like a okay Mario Golf game. I think that there's a lot of better ones that I think people would look back to, sort of like on like the GameCube or whatever. So, but yeah, I mean, it's Mario Golf. What can I say? Same thing for Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. I mean, this is like literally the best Mario Kart game just because of how much content is in there, but also just like the core mechanics of Mario Kart 8. You know, when it was on the Wii U, I thought that was like a great entry within the Mario Kart series and the best one. So then when they were just like, we're just gonna make it again on the Switch and just add more stuff to it, I'm like, you know what, that makes sense. You know, you don't want to fully develop another Mario Kart game, especially if you're gonna have a new console. Just like add a couple more things in there. And now that I think they've added like a whole other game on top of it with the sort of second pass or whatever, they've added like, I think 8 more sort of cups. And I'm like, okay, yeah, like that is like a lot of courses. So, you know, whenever Mario Kart 9 comes out or whatever sort of Switch 2 Mario Kart game has, it's going to have a lot of content. So Mario Party Superstars, probably still the best Mario Party game on the console. You know, even though Super Mario Party Jamboree, which I will talk about later, you know, is still like a good game. I think as the overall package, Mario Party Superstars just like nails it. There's legit over 100 mini games, so like every single Mario Party game that you play is gonna be different here. The boards are all from the N64 era, which are all great, fantastic, and then the mini games are spread out from every single Mario Party game, which for the most part across every single Mario Party game, the mini games have always been pretty good. Like I feel like, you know, you could knock like Mario Party 10 and Mario Party 9 for like the way those games were formatted, but the minigames were still like solid or like decent at least. So yeah, this game just has so much stuff in it, and also the online play for like the Mario Party mode is actually not that bad. You know, even when someone lags out, they could hop right back in and it's no big deal. It is actually like a very, very good Mario Party game, whether you play locally or online. And I think that if you are debating between this game or Jamboree, get this game. But like I said, I will talk about Jamboree later. Mario Tennis Aces. This is another Mario sports game that came out, and I played the demo, the beta, whatever, and I liked it. Tried it out, and then when the full game came out, I still liked it, but I was just like not good at it. So that's where like my frustrations lie, where it was just like I was just not good at this game. And also it was kind of like a fighting game in a sense. I know this is like a super duper weird comparison, but it's like you cannot like mess up a move or like sort of mess up the way that the sort of ball is bouncing back and forth or whatever, or else you're just gonna get wrecked or something like that. So yeah, but I mean it's still a good game. I think it's just not for me. I'm just not good at it. So Mario vs. Donkey Kong. I forgot this game came out earlier this year, but this is a fantastic remake of the Game Boy Advance game. Even if you played it before, there's a lot of different things in there that might be a little different, that might, you know, entice you to come back into it. I mean, the Mario vs. Donkey Kong series have always been like fun little puzzle games that you could just sit back, relax, and just have a good time with. And this is no different. I mean, there were definitely times where I was like messing up and sort of like not like understanding of like what the hell is happening, and I had to like look up on like a few of the final levels to like realize like what do I have to do to finish the level. But all in all, Mario vs. Donkey Kong is still a fantastic series and a fantastic game, and this remake definitely shows that. So I hope that we get more Mario vs. Donkey Kong games in the future. Mega Man Battle Network Legacy Collection. Oh boy, if you're talking about childhood games here, this is one of them. So the first ever game console or gaming thing that I got was a Game Boy Advance, and my brother and I always played Mega Man Battle Network 4 Red Sun. And we played that so much. We didn't even know that it was like a RPG or whatever. We were just having a fun time with it. So now that I have a game here that has pretty much every single one, hell yeah. I have yet to actually open it and like play it. I mean, I've opened it, but I haven't like put the cartridge in, played it for like a you know, like solid like few hours or whatever. I definitely want to do that because this is, like I said, my childhood sort of game here, and I haven't played any of the other Battle Network games other than Battle Network 4. Haven't played any of the other ones, so I want to check those out, see how they hold up, and yeah. Now we got Metroid Prime Remastered, and this is another game that came out and then it was just selling like hotcakes, but I didn't give in to the scalper sort of FOMO. I did not buy this for like $100 on eBay or whatever. I actually waited for Nintendo to reprint it because I was like, they are going to reprint it because they are surprised even by themselves by how well Metroid Prime Remastered is selling, and I bought it on that restock. So yeah, don't really have much to say just because I have yet to open it and actually check it out, but I've heard nothing but great things about this, and I cannot wait for Metroid Prime 4 Beyond. Metroid Dread. This game, I was actually kind of hyped for it because I think I like 2D Metroid more, maybe, possibly, but I'm just not good at the Metroid games either as well. But this game was actually not that bad to play for me personally. I didn't finish it, but like for the few hours that I did play, it felt pretty good, you know, with the sort of exploration, the Metroidvania elements where you're going back and forth, re-exploring areas after you get an upgrade and all this other stuff. It's a lot of fun. It is also very challenging when like those robots come at you. I'm like, what the hell's going on? You know, I'm like having a hard time at defeating them or whatever. But yeah, you know, Metroid is definitely a series I think Nintendo should look at more, but I understand that it doesn't make as much money as like Mario or Zelda or whatever. Miitopia, another game that I found at Target that was on clearance, and I just bought it because I was like, well, it's you know, it's pretty cheap. It was like, you know, 20, 30 bucks or whatever. So yeah, you know, I know that this was formerly a 3DS game, and then they ported it to the Switch. They made some changes to it or whatever, but yeah, I don't really know much about Miitopia. New Pokemon Snap. I mean, people have been asking for a brand new Pokemon Snap game for years and years and years, and then when they finally announce one and they release it, it was kind of whatever. I mean, yeah, it is Pokemon Snap. You're kind of just taking pictures of Pokemon, but now you got all of these new Pokemon, the sort of new gen ones, but also the ones that were missed out in between the N64 release and this one. So, yeah, I mean, if you want Pokemon Snap on your Switch, this is the game for it. I mean, that's all I can really say. You know, you just take a picture of Pokemon, but it is very charming. It is very cute, so I will give them that. New Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe. So, another game that I think I bought during Black Friday because I was like, there's no way I'm paying like $50 to $60 for this game, because New Super Mario Bros. U is not the worst Mario Brothers game out there, and it's not like the worst New Super Mario Brothers game out there either. But I was just like, you know, it's like whatever. You know, it doesn't really do much for me. But I did play a little bit of this leading up to Mario Wonder because I just wanted to, you know, have a nice refresher of like 2D Mario. And yeah, I mean, it's still fine. I've yet to actually play and finish New Super Luigi U, so I definitely want to do that. But yeah, if you haven't played New Super Mario Bros. U, this is definitely the way to do it, just because they add a bunch of stuff in it, and on top of that, you also get Super Luigi U. Nickelodeon AllStar Brawl, one of the many Smash Brothers clones that have come out within the past 5 to 10 years, and this one made a splash, but once again, like most Smash Brothers clones, they don't really stick around for that long, unfortunately. And then they recently made a sequel, which improved a lot of stuff, but once again, it hasn't really stuck around or sort of had a really strong community behind it. But the game itself, I mean, it's fine. It's a Smash Brothers clone with Nickelodeon characters, and yeah, I mean, it's cool. I like it. It's not that bad, so. Now we got Nintendo World Championship NES Edition. Yeah, I've yet to open it, so I don't really know much about it, other than that it has the Nintendo World Championship games, and you could test your skill online against the world, if you will. There's a bunch of challenges across multiple NES games that aren't just within the Nintendo World Championship sort of cartridge or whatever, the original challenge that happened back in the 1980s. And this version of it also comes not just with the game, you also get a replica game pack, pin set, and art cards. So yeah, have yet to open it. Definitely want to check it out. But yeah, I also need Switch Online to play it, which I don't have actively like normally. So, you know, that's also another thing that I need to keep in mind. But yeah, just wanted to buy that for the collector's value. Not going to put it on the stack of games there, but yeah. Now we got some limited run game products. We got No More Heroes 1 and 2. Yeah, these are classic Wii games that were synonymous with sort of like the M-rated, more mature games on the Wii. And I played No More Heroes 1, and I've tried it out on the Wii, but I've yet to try it out on the Switch, because obviously these are both still sealed. Definitely want to open these up one day and actually play them, just because No More Heroes has his main character named Travis Stryker, which I am also named Travis, so I'm like, okay, yeah, I need to play this game. Or Travis Touchdown, my bad, not Travis Stryker, because there's a game called Travis Strikes Back, so I confused it for those two. Anyways, yeah, Travis Touchdown. And yeah, I mean, it's a pretty cool comic booky, sort of cheesy game. You're pretty much just defeating a bunch of assassins, I believe. So yeah, I mean, it's cool. Definitely a lot of blood, a lot of, you know, M-rated stuff in there. So yeah. Next game we got here is Overcooked 2. I remember playing this on our first trip to Super Smash Con and just having a lot of fun with it, even though we were all playing with like Joy-Cons or whatever. And the games do not run the best on the Switch, I'm not going to lie, because there was at one point where the game kind of just broke on me and my girlfriend when we were playing at home. And I was like, okay, I should probably buy the PS5 version and just play it on that one, because that one runs flawlessly because obviously the hardware is a lot better. But even then, Overcooked is a fun party game where you're pretty much just doing food orders and you're trying to get all 3 stars or whatever, and there's a lot of management that you need to do, a lot of different strats or whatever. So yeah, you know, if you like sort of those chaotic party games, Overcooked is definitely it. Paper Mario, the Thousand-Year Door. The fact that they even remade this game or remastered it for the Switch is crazy in and of itself. But I bought it just to support the movement. I've yet to actually play it. But yeah, I hear nothing but great things about this. This is probably the best Mario RPG out there that a lot of people claim it to be. And I cannot wait to try it out for myself to actually get like a fantastic story, but also a fantastic battle system and all this other stuff. So yeah. Persona 3 Portable. I got this for free, actually. I went to a Limited Run Games X Shopify pop-up in New York City, and I was like, well, want to check this out, but also they were giving out goodie bags, and this goodie bag happened to have Persona 3 Portable. So at first he was trying to give me another indie game. It's called Orzette, but I already had that, and he was like, let me go and grab something else for you, and he was like, how's Persona 3 Portable? And I was like, you know what? That's cool. That's definitely totally fine, because I don't have this game at all across all of the different platforms that this game released on. I don't even have it on the PSP or whatever. So, you know, the fact that I now have the console version for it is pretty cool. Definitely want to check out the Persona series one day, because this is another series that Damien loves to rave about alongside Final Fantasy. Let's talk about the Pikmin games. We got Pikmin 1 and 2 and Pikmin 4. I don't have Pikmin 3 Deluxe. I definitely want to get that one day. But yeah, I got Pikmin 3 here. I bought this on Amazon, as you can see with that stupid Amazon barcode. And yeah, Pikmin 1 and 2 are definitely by far, or the Pikmin series as a whole is like by far like one of my favorite series from Nintendo. It's a sort of real-time strategy where you are trying to gather resources within a certain amount of time, and you just got to do it under that time constraint, and it's a lot of fun. I've yet to play Pikmin 1 and 2 on the Switch, and it's been a few years since I played them back on the Wii, but when I did play them, I really enjoyed Pikmin 1. Pikmin 2, not so much. I think the dungeons really killed it for me personally. I was just like, I don't really like these dungeons or whatever, and then Pikmin 3 was like above and beyond anything I could have really expected. It's like by far one of my favorite Pikmin games, like definitely top 2. Then Pikmin 4 came out, and Pikmin 4 I think is like the best Pikmin game out of the bunch, just because it refines everything that this series has learned and done so far. They've actually made the dungeons feel like actual levels instead of being like randomly generated, like, and not have like stupid cheap deaths. Pikmin 4 does a lot right for the series, and Poochie also makes everything a lot more fun, where you could just run around with the Pikmin and just do all that stuff and not have to worry about some of them straggling behind. Every single Pikmin game from 2 to 3 to 3 to 4 just refines everything so well and so much fun to play. So yeah, Pikmin 4, still one of my favorite Switch games, and definitely by far the best Pikmin game by far. Pikmin 3 is still a very close second, I will say. Now we got Princess Peach Showtime. This is another Switch game that came out this year that I kind of forgot about because it came out so early within the year. But yeah, I mean, this is like an inoffensive sort of 2D, 3D platformer featuring Princess Peach as she takes on a bunch of different hats, such as Kung Fu Peach, Patisserie Peach, Sword Fighter Peach, Cowgirl Peach, etc. There's a lot of different gameplay styles that actually all work pretty well. I say that this is inoffensive because I'm going to be honest, it is kind of forgettable, and it is kind of just like a whatever game. Like, it doesn't really challenge you, and it doesn't really do anything that you haven't seen before within the platforming genre, but it is a very good game. I did have a good time with it. If you want a Princess Peach game, you really cannot go wrong with this one, and if you want a fun little 3D platformer for like your small kid or whatever, this is also another great one that she or he or them could check out. Now we got Ring Fit Adventure. My friend Kofi, he showed this game to me, and I was like, what is this? And it comes in like this big box. You also get like this ring, and you pretty much just work out. It is actually kind of insane that Nintendo made a game like this. There's also like RPG elements to it and all of this other stuff. And it is very, very good, I will say. If you want to have a nice workout at home, you cannot go wrong with Ring Fit Adventure. You won't necessarily like get like bulked up or sort of have like the best exercise compared to like going to like an actual gym and everything. But if you want like a pseudo replacement for that, that's like a tier below it, you really cannot go wrong here, because you will break a sweat playing this game. I'm not gonna lie. The game really does put you through the ringer at times with like defeating enemies and sort of doing all that stuff. It is a lot of fun. So yeah, Ring Fit Adventure. If you haven't checked it out and you want to play a game that really, makes you break a sweat, Ring Fit Adventure will definitely surprise you on that front. Samba de Amigo Party Central. I was very surprised that this series even came back, but I don't think it really made that big of a splash. I bought this when it came out, haven't played it yet. And yeah, that's pretty much all I can really say. I haven't heard anything about it personally, so next game we got here, Scat Pilgrim vs. the World Complete Edition. This is the collector's edition from Limited Run Games. Have not opened this one. But yeah, I also bought this on the PS4 just because I was like, I want to own this game, because this game it escaped from literally everyone when it got taken down from the PSN and Xbox Live Arcade. So the fact that they were able to come back and make the game available digitally, but also just have it on a physical release with Limited Run Games, sure, why not? I am definitely going to buy that, just so I now own Scat Pilgrim vs. the World, and it cannot leave me. It is forever in my collection. Now let's talk about Sonic Mania. So I guess I'll talk about this first. My cousin got this for me for my birthday last year. So it's Sonic Mania and Team Sonic Racing. I have yet to play Team Sonic Racing. I wanted to get it on PS4, but I never did. So this is actually like a pretty good gift. But Sonic Mania, I mean, what can I say about Sonic Mania that hasn't already been said? It's like one of the best 2D Sonic games out there. You really cannot go wrong with it. It is still my favorite Sonic game out there, just because it is so good. Like from like a gameplay perspective, it is just so good. It looks amazing. It sounds amazing. Everything about from a Sonic game that you would want is in Sonic Mania. It is just that goddamn good. And then you got Sonic Mania Plus here, which I bought when it came out, because this is like the first ever physical release of the game, and I was like, yes, Sonic Mania Plus, definitely have to get that. Comes with a art book and also a reversible cover, as you can see, still sealed, and the book in there, I actually have an open copy of it, and it is pretty much just a art book. You can see the artwork of the games and sort of like the animations and everything like that, the sketches from Tyson Hess and all of this other stuff. So yeah, I love Sonic Mania. Sonic Mania is definitely one of the best sort of Sonic games, like I said, and if you haven't played it yet, definitely check it out. There's a lot of fun to be had here. We got some other Sonic games here, so let me quickly talk about Sonic Superstars. This is a Sonic game that came out last year that was a return to 2D. This was sort of Sega's follow-up to Sonic Mania, but it was just so poorly executed. I mean, like, the main game is fine. The main game is fine, but once you have to play the secret character afterwards to get like the true final boss and like the true ending and like all of that other stuff, the game becomes not fun, because you just have to replay the game all over again on a lot harder difficulty. Then the final boss is also stupid and like not fun at all either. It's kind of BS in terms of how difficult that final boss is, but you might be wondering, Travis, why did you get it on the Switch? Well, this was on sale at Best Buy for like $10 to $20 or something like that, and I was like, you know what? I'll get it on the Switch, why not? So yeah, I mean, the game looks fine. It looks good for like a 2D Sonic game with 3D graphics, but I think overall the package was just, it left much to be desired, is what I'll say. A Sonic game that did not disappoint, Sonic X Shadow Generations. So I have it on the Switch physically. I bought it on my PS5 digitally because I wanted to get that few days early access. And this is from my Limited Run Games pre-order. So, you know, that whole big collector's edition or whatever, I bought the pre-order for that, and they shipped the game to you. And this came in the mail, I would say, like a few days after the Friday release. So, you know, it wasn't that bad, but by that point I had already finished the game. I haven't tried it out on my Switch yet, but I haven't heard any bad things about the Switch port, which is good, because like that game looks amazing on the PlayStation 5. So, you know, nothing bad about the Sonic X Shadow Generations port on the Switch from what I've heard. So let's talk about Splatoon. We got Splatoon 2 and Splatoon 3. Pretty much a follow-up to the original Splatoon on the Wii U. And after the Wii U failed, they were like, well, we got to pump out Splatoon 2 and then Splatoon 3. So Splatoon 2 came out close to the Switch's launch, and I played so much of it. I played so much of this game. It was actually kind of crazy. I was like A to S rank in like a couple of the multiplayer modes, and I was like, okay, yeah, like I'm having like a lot of fun with this sort of third person Nintendo shooter. It was so weird. I was just having so much fun with it at the time. And then when Splatoon 3 came out, I was kind of just burnt out with Splatoon still. I don't know what it was. I think I just played so much of the second game. When the third one came out, I just didn't really play it that much. Bought this Black Friday, some sort of holiday sale, I forget, and I got it for like less than retail. That's the only reason why I would have it in my collection. But yeah, I have not put this game in and really like tried it out and played it. I think I played a little bit of the multiplayer, but I was so washed up and so bad compared to like the other players. I was like, okay, yeah, like I'm not that great at Splatoon anymore, but it is still like a really great and fun series if you want to check out Nintendo's third-person sort of colorful squid shooter. Oh boy, we still got a stack of games here, so let's check them out one by one. So first up, we got Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic. This is a game that my girlfriend wanted when we were at Too Many Games, and Limited Run Games was there. So I was like, hey, you know what? If you want us to play this game, it's probably the most convenient way for us to do it. So yeah, bought it there. And I did not realize that it was actually like a decent amount of money. I bought that for like $35, but I think it goes for like 60, 70. Anyways. Super Mario 3D All-Stars. This is one of those occasions where Nintendo, that for whatever reason, they were like, we're going to print this game, but we're only going to do it for like Mario's 30th anniversary or whatever. Like, we're not going to have this available on the shelf at all times for whatever reason. It has Mario 64, Mario Sunshine, and Mario Galaxy. Why would you not want players to have that readily available physically? I think it might not be on the eShop anymore either. I forget. But yeah, pretty much these are just straight ports of those games. They didn't really do anything fancy or whatever. I know for the Galaxy, they obviously had to sort of refine the motion controls because obviously you don't have a Wiimote and nunchuck. But yeah, it's pretty much just straight ports of all three of these games. Mario 64 has its legacy, but it's not exactly the best 3D Mario game out there. Mario Sunshine, I'm not a big fan of. And then Mario Galaxy is like by far, I think, like undisputed. Like, I think a lot of people can agree that like the Mario Galaxy duology is like so freaking good. I just wish that this collection did have Mario Galaxy 2 because that's my preferred Mario Galaxy game because I have a lot of memories with that one. But still, a great collection, especially if you want to play these older Mario games. This is going to be the most convenient way for you to do it. Super Mario 3D World and Bowser's Fury. Obviously, a lot of people bought this game because of Bowser's Fury, but even then, I really like Mario 3D World. I think Mario 3D World is still like a great Mario game, even though it is kind of weird in terms of like the level design and everything like that. It's not like a traditional 3D Mario game. It's very much like a 2D Mario game, but with like a 3D sort of format. And then Bowser's Fury was like an open world Mario game where like you were just like running around as like Mario and just doing like these little missions for like these people within like this area or whatever. It was kind of weird, but it kind of worked. So I didn't actually finish Bowser's Fury, but I had a lot of fun with it. So Super Mario Bros. Wonder. This is a very good game. I mean, what can I say that hasn't already been said? Super Mario Bros. Wonder is the standout game from last year that I think a lot of people can agree with, that this is like one of the best 2D Mario games in years, and not just because it has been so long since a 2D Mario game came out. There's just a lot of great ideas within this game. Like, every single level feels like it's not filler. Like, every level has an idea and they wanted to execute that idea, and they did. And then the badges are also great. The transformation with the Wonder Flower are also just like super unique and super weird. The new power-ups with the Elephant Mario, Bubble Mario, and Drill, also great. So yeah, literally the perfect sort of 2D Mario game, and I hope that once we get a follow-up to Mario Wonder, it is going to be just as good, if not better. Super Mario Odyssey. I know it might be a little controversial within 2024 to say that this is my favorite 3D Mario game, just because, I had a lot of great memories with this one. I think that this is by far one of the best 3D Mario games out there, next to like Galaxy or whatever, but my personal favorite out of the bunch. I remember when this game came out, me and my brother went to Best Buy at midnight, picked the game up, went home, played it for like a few hours, and then I went to bed. You know, midnight releases are still like, they are not a thing anymore, and that sucks. I wish midnight releases were a thing, because it's just so much fun just to like see other people there, just like interacting with them and all this other stuff, and also just like getting the game and like that excitement of getting the game physically, going home, popping it into your system and playing it. That is so much fun. But anyways, Mario Odyssey, the game itself, the movement is great. I think collecting the moons, even though a lot of them are kind of pointless, it is still like a lot of fun, you know, just doing like that sort of collect-a-thon stuff. And also every single level and every single hub world feeling like a mini like open world that you could explore and sort of see like, what do these nooks and crannies have for me to find? Where are the moons and all this other stuff? It's a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun with Mario Odyssey, and I definitely want to pop it in again one day and actually go through it and actually 100% it. I think I didn't do that just because I was so burnt out with Mario Wonder at the time, but still, it is still one of my favorites, probably my favorite 3D Mario game. Super Mario Party. This was Nintendo's first foray into the Mario Party series after Mario Party 9 and 10. So obviously there was a lot of pressure on them to actually like try to fix the series, because the past couple of games were not that great. But this was a great step in the right direction. You know, the boards, not that good. The mini games were still fine. Everyone was on their own little, you know, sort of navigation thing, but every board was just like a straight line, just like kind of fancied out in a way. You know, there was like no alternate paths within the board itself. It just went in like a square or like a circle or whatever. But I think the ally system was pretty cool, just having like these unique buddies that would give you like a unique dice roll or, you know, extra coins or whatever. You know, it was pretty cool. And then we got Super Mario Party Jamboree, which I talked about on the channel a few weeks back. But yeah, this is pretty much them trying to do within Super Mario Party, but also have sort of great boards, just like within the N64 GameCube era of Mario Party, which they achieved. I will not lie. The boards within this game are so much fun. They are so freaking good. And then they have a bunch of these other modes that are not that great, with like motion controls and all this other stuff. The online modes are very, very good. Like Koopalathon is like so much fun. I was having a blast playing through that mode for like an hour or so. And I could see why a lot of people would spend their time trying to get good at Koopalathon, because there's a lot to sort of do and sort of have your skill really shine within a Mario Party mode where you are playing against other players online in like a battle royale style. So yeah, you know, Mario Party Jamboree, there's a lot to like here, but there's also a lot to like ignore and not really like here, which is why it's hard for me to recommend it at $60. I think $50 is like the perfect price point for it, just because I think half the modes are like kind of useless or whatever. But if you want to play the new boards and also try out the online modes, definitely check out Mario Party Jamboree. And it comes with 3 months of Switch Online, so that's pretty cool. Super Mario RPG, another Mario RPG remake that was surprising to drop. And I was like, yeah, I mean, this is probably going to be the way that I'm going to first time experience Mario Party RPG, or Super Mario RPG, not Mario Party RPG. But yeah, I mean, I've heard nothing but good things about this remake. You know, I know that there's a lot of things that they changed or sort of adjusted or whatever for 2023. And yeah, you know, it is pretty cool that Nintendo was able to remake this game, even though, you know, this was originally a Square Enix product. You know, they actually just took it and just remade it for the Switch. So yeah, very, very happy about that. And yeah, maybe we'll get another Mario RPG game within this style. Who knows? But yeah. Super Meat Boy, another Xbox Live Arcade game that I absolutely loved when I was a kid. I did not sit down and like fully complete it within one sitting. It was something that I played every now and then. But this was a super fun, challenging 2D platformer, sort of one of those games that you would just have to play and just die in every single level over and over again. And until you got it right, then you can move on to the next level. And yeah, bought this physically at Best Buy, I believe, because limited run games had a few of their releases go to retailers, so this was one of them. And yeah, now I have it physically for my Switch. Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, what can I say about this game that hasn't already been said? This is a fantastic fighting game, fantastic party fighting game, if you want to call that. People are still playing this game casually, competitively to this day, just because of its massive roster, the game mechanics. Like, there's a lot to love here. And whenever a new Smash Brothers game comes out, there's always that excitement of like, who are they adding to the roster? Who are they adding here? And they kept that hype going for a long time with the battle passes and sort of like those fighter passes or whatever. So yeah, the roster in this game is insane. The fact that they brought everyone back from the previous Smash Brothers games here is fantastic. And then on top of that, they had all of those additional characters afterwards. And yeah, you know, this is definitely the best Smash Brothers game in terms of content. Is it the best Smash Brothers game, period? That's another debate for another time, but it is definitely my favorite. So, WarioWare, get it together. This is actually a very, very fun WarioWare game where there's over 200 micro mini games, and you could actually just like have a great time with it. I think that this was the first WarioWare game that really brought the series back into, I guess, like the limelight, if you will, because yeah, there's a lot of fun to be had here. And I think that, you know, there was another Wario game that came out a year or so ago, maybe even this year, I forget. But WarioWare get it together is definitely one that is worth checking out, in my opinion. Yoshi's Crafted World. I think that this is one of those Nintendo games that people forget a lot, because this is a follow-up to Yoshi's Woolly World, which is one of my favorite Wii U games. That is one of my favorites. And Yoshi's Crafted World was a follow-up to it. Instead of wool, now Yoshi is in a sort of, just like in general, like an arts and crafts world. And this one was pretty fun to check out. You know, it's not necessarily, you know, I guess sort of like in the same line of like the Princess Peach game, where it's not going to be like the most challenging or the most sort of game-defining 3D platformer or platformer in general, but it will be a lot of fun. It's very wholesome. It is very cute. And yeah, you know, you could also flip between the different sides of every single level, because there's a foreground and a background, and sometimes you could go into that background. So yeah, you know, it's a very, very good game. I definitely recommend it if you want to check out a solo Yoshi adventure. Last games we got here. We got the Legend of Zelda games. I don't have the new one that just came out, but I have Breath of the Wild and Link's Awakening. I still don't have Tears of the Kingdom. Definitely need to buy that. But yeah, I mean, I'm not the biggest 3D Zelda guy, but I'm just not the biggest Zelda guy either, you know? I love A Link Between Worlds as still like my favorite Zelda game, period. But when Breath of the Wild came out, obviously everyone bought this because this came out with the Switch, so it was like, what else were you going to play? And yeah, it's pretty cool. This is like the biggest Zelda game by far before Tears of the Kingdom came out. And yeah, pretty good game. Haven't finished it. Haven't really gotten that far into it because I'm just bad at 3D Zelda games and I'm just not super duper into them. But even with 2D Zelda games, I think when this one came out, once again, I was in college, so I wasn't exactly, you know, I was very, very busy. So I didn't have a lot of free time to actually, you know, sit down and play video games. But Link's Awakening is a remake of a Game Boy game, and they did a fantastic job just remaking it from the ground up, making the visuals really, really pop, and also just bringing back that 2D Zelda gameplay. I really love the 2D Zelda gameplay because it is so simple, but also just a lot of fun. And this is a Zelda game that I've yet to play front to back, even on this new remake, so I definitely have to do that one of these days. So yeah, that is my entire Nintendo Switch collection. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys want more videos like this, be sure to hit the like button and subscribe. I put new videos up on Saturdays. Follow me on social media at TVSonicGaming. I'm on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, pretty much everything. And you can check out my podcast called the Travis and Damien Podcast. We talk about games, movies, and anime every other week. And yeah, that is all I have for today. Thank you guys for watching this video once again. Now, see you guys next time with more videos.